You've probably heard it said that brand is the most important and most powerful thing in a business. And I think that if you look at what brand really is, I mean, look at the idea of if, back in the day, if a brand was your mark on a cow out in a field and everybody knew that it was yours, what did that symbol represent? What did it matter to you? Well, it was like, hey, you know what? I see that. I know who that brand belongs to. I see an interaction. I see a phone call. I see a finished project, a finished product. I see how a service was delivered, and I know who that service belongs to because of the quality, because really it comes down to one thing. A brand is a promise kept. So if you were to just take a piece of paper right now and write down the word promise and say, okay, when I'm up in the morning and starting my day and thinking about how may I serve, that's the question I ask as I start my day. How may I serve? What am I grateful for? What can I learn from if I were to sit down and look back over the last year? What can I learn from? How can I make things even better? But how may I serve? I like to look at who I'm working with as a client, who's, any of my clients who I'm working with and say, what promises can I make now that I can keep? And what promises have I made that I can keep even better? And my ability to keep better promises doesn't just come from me. It comes from challenging the people around me, challenging the people on the team, and challenging myself to dig deeper, to look deeper and say, when you make a promise to someone, what's the expectation that you're creating? What are they hoping for? What are they excited about? What do they really need to have happen? Because, let's face it, if you look out at ads, you look out at marketing, you look out at anything that you're putting out there, that you're reading in the Facebook ads, that you're watching in videos, there's a promise that people are making, and the question is, when they make that promise, what are they requiring of you so they can keep that promise? Are they really demonstrating that they're making that promise? I should say, making that promise with an intention to keep it. And we all have a BS filter, so I think that at the very root level, if there's nothing else that you do, from philosophically and in the overall approach to building your business, if there's nothing you do, but just I like taking filters and running through a business. One of them I love is are you helping? If you're making a promise that you're going to help people, then help someone or go home. But if you're making a promise, you've got to know what those promises are. Do you have the promises that you've made to your client? And to your clients or to your customers, and have you written them down? If you say things like, we're the best service in the industry, how do you know? Do you know what other people are doing? Have you taken the time to evaluate the pros and cons and the different features and benefits of everybody in your industry, or are you just guessing? You're just saying that so you can get the business. I think making promises early and keeping promises early and consistently before you get a client, even in this video, you might be watching this, I haven't even worked with you before, but I know if I can make a promise to you that I'm going to deliver something valuable in this business, for your business in this video, and then I deliver it, and then you're able to go do something with it, then I've kept that promise. So here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. I want to take care of you before we work together, if we never work together, or if we work together, and afterwards. And that's a promise that I make if we decide that we're going to do some work together at some point. Now, that's not the reason for making this video. I'm not making this video so that you'll work with me. What I'm doing is I'm making a promise that I'm obsessed with helping business owners be effective, focus on what's essential, reduce overhead, and get paid what they're worth. But to do that, that's going into some of the tough conversations about promise making and promise keeping. It's follow through. It's doing what you say you're going to do. So to that end, here's what you can do with promise making in your business. Here's what I'm going to suggest, and I think most business owners at some point forget this, so here's what you can do. The first thing you want to do is make a complete list of the promises that you've openly made to your customers. Here are the promises that I make. Then make another list. Here are the promises that are assumed. I like to call that the secret result. So what's the secret result? What are the secret promises that your customer is expecting you to keep? And if you look at the promises you're making and the promises that your customer is expecting you to keep, go and pick one of those promises from each list right now and come up with a plan to just deliver the hell out of it. Find a way to take the promise that you've promised and just 12 up it. Don't just one up it, wow it. Make it exceptional. Make it exceptional. Look at the client's desires, look at their needs, look at their worries, and think about what would be the most effective. Use the 80-20 principle, Pareto's principle, and say, what's the 20% that you can do that'll get you 80% of the results for your client, so you can keep that promise with your client even better than you've ever kept it before. And I challenge you, even if you've got 30 things on that list, just one time every week, pick one promise that you made, keep it even better. Find a way to scale that up, 3, 4, 5 times better than you've ever kept it before. And each week, put that plan into action in a way where it can become a ritual. And then from the list of the secret results that your client is expecting, find a way to either deliver on that promise or point that client, openly become transparent and share with them, this is something I know you're also hoping will happen, and here's a way that it can happen. And even if you're not the one who provides that, or maybe there's a false expectation, provide an article, provide guidance, point someone in the right direction, introduce some people, create some connections, and deliver a wow result on that promise. Help that client move in that direction. Because really, a brand is a promise that you make, or a promise that a client believes that you're making that connects back to you. They know this image, this tagline, this delivered service, the result that someone's getting, people would say, oh, that's got to be from him. That's got to be from this company. And when you get better at doing that, you create images that people remember. You create language and stakes in the ground. We'll talk about a little more at a different time. Stakes in the ground are knowing what you stand for. But when other people know what you stand for, because the actions and the results of your actions speak louder than your words, it changes a business forever. And then the marketing becomes easier, clients become happier, the work you do becomes a lot more fun. If you want more help, if you got a business and you're stuck, listen, I promise you, I will help you get an action plan together. You can pop me an email. My team will help you schedule a call with me. If I see it, I'll respond to you directly. I'll create a video about it, or we can jump on a strategy call. And listen, that call isn't about trying to sell you something or getting you to work with me. I want to make it crystal clear. If you love my help, great. But I'm completely disconnected from the need for you to work with me, because there's a lot of people with a lot of good advice. If this does resonate, you think my advice or my guidance will be helpful, you want to learn from some of the experiences that I've had in building businesses over the last 29 years, including mine and all the mistakes that I've made early on in the game, back when I was building business in my teens, then you know what? Ask a question. Take advantage of this. If I give you something, don't just believe it because I say it. Go test it out. Try the little exercise to verify your brand today by seeing the promises that you've made and the promises that are assumed, and see if you're really delivering on them, because it's a really powerful exercise. And I think what you'll see is you'll start to get more clients, or you'll start to do a better job for your current clients, and they'll want more of your products and services. But mostly you'll be helping them, which is what this is all about. So help@theminimalistceo.com. That's the email. Send an email to me, help@theminimalistceo.com. Please subscribe to the page if you want to see more videos. I have new videos every single day. And I'm committed to helping business owners focus on what's essential, reduce overhead, reduce overwhelm, and start earning what they're worth. And not just by throwing a bunch of money at it, because that's really just treating symptoms. Let's go out there, do something with integrity, provide a premium value, and everything starts to shift.